Welcome back. Correctional Services National Spokesperson Makgothi Thobakgale is now back up to chat to us about this particular official who has been bussed with Mandrax with over R1 million at the Pollsmoor Correctional Facility in Cape Town. A very warm welcome back, Thobakgale. You're just taking us through where these drugs were found, at the official's house or within the jail cells.
Thank you. Apologies, I don't know what happened to my connection. But as I was explaining, this member is based at Vanrhynsdorp Correctional Centre in the Western Cape. And she was found in the act of packaging these drugs in the presence of a 20-year-old daughter. That's when the arrest took place. And as a department, it's something that we've been saying, from time to time to say, errant officials have no place in correctional services. And when we find you acting against the gospel of corrections, you have to be removed and you have to be prosecuted. Hence, as a department, we'll be following this case quite closely. And we do hope that it will send a message even to others who could be considering joining this particular gang, because it is disturbing when law enforcement officers engage themselves in this particular act. So as a department, we really appreciate the work that has been done by those traffic officers and SAPS in the Western Cape, and we're working closely in order to ensure that there are no gaps and that the case will move until its finality, so that at least we'll know that people who don't deserve in brown uniform do exchange it for orange one.
Were the officials acting on a tip-off, or was it just a random search?
What happened is that there was a traffic operation by the traffic department, and there were two male occupants. When they were searching them, they found quite a reasonable amount of drugs. And upon further investigation, it then led them to the house of our official. That's when they found them packaging these drugs worth to about 1.2 million rands and cash amounting to 17,800. They were then arrested on the spot. Hence, as a department, we're following it quite close because we want to know, was this person supplying these drugs to our facilities, or she's part of the network dealing with drugs? So it's important that we take interest, we move with the case up until it is finally taken to the last phases, where perhaps there could be the conviction. But as a department, we are fully involved in it, and we're giving support to the work that is being done by the SAPS and other criminal justice agencies involved in it.
Thobakgale, it seems to be an ongoing trend, because back in 2019, in August, another official was found to be in possession of 96 Mandrax tablets. And in November the same year, another official was found to be in possession of 600 Mandrax drugs. This seems to be a continuing trend, because they're also found with quite a number of cell phones, and in the same case as this particular official who was bussed recently. So what's the correctional services doing about this particular trend?
The work that we do involves intelligence, and when we get leads, we then follow them quite closely, working with SAPS and other agencies. It is of interest to us that such people are removed and are taken through the criminal justice system. As a department, yes, it may look, as if it's a negative story, rightfully so, and we support it because it will be difficult to rehabilitate inmates when you have such people within your force. They have to be removed. Otherwise, the work that we're doing, will not see any positive light. We have to remove them. Sadly, some of our officials are targeted by gangs. They see correctional centers as a fertile environment, to trade in drugs. That is what we do not want. Hence, it's important that we work with other law enforcement, remove these officials. They must be prosecuted, they must be jailed, so that we'll know that within our force, we only have people who are committed to the work of corrections, so that when we rehabilitate people, it is right and correctly so that when people are placed out, they are fully rehabilitated and committed to do positive work out there. Hence, I've said it before, it will never be easy to rehabilitate people when they still receive drugs, when they receive mobile phones, because what it does, it gives them in a position where they can entrench their illegal acts, even when they are within our custody.
What drives the trade of illicit, products within the correctional center? I mean, what really pushes, or what really gives the inmates the oxygen to keep on trading in this stuff, and who aids them?
You ought to look at it holistically, in the sense that some people will, or rather say, it's better to be in a correctional facility because it's safe and secured. Then they can continue with their trade. Some may say, I do need those drugs so that, I can continue with my habit of taking them. Some may say, perhaps it's a quickest way of making money. Hence, then you will find someone in brown uniform engaging in this particular act. The department, therefore, has to be firm in saying, you may choose whichever factor, whether you want to get rich by selling them, or whether you still want to take drugs whilst you are in our custody, or you may think that correctional facilities are a safe haven for you to do this. All these elements must be dealt with, and harshly so. Hence, we've taken harsh stance against our own officials. Inmates trading in this or involved in this must be dealt with, or even the associates in the outside communities who still liaise with inmates trying to see whether they can entrench their businesses. We have to deal with this, and it is not just correctional services that must be involved. Hence, we appreciate the work that other agencies are doing in assisting us in this, so that we can deal with this once and for all. And we're not going to give up. It's like war. We are in it, and eventually we will succeed.
Where do the inmates get the money from?
What you find is that there is always a linkage between inmates and the outside community. So, and we've seen trends changing all the time, where inmates are no longer keeping cash or try to smuggle cash with them. But, they use the system that me and you, are available, in the world out there, where it's a cashless system, where, it's transactions, be it online or otherwise. Hence, these mobile phones are contraband. We don't want them because it aids inmates to do other things. It connects them to the outside world, and they can even torment other victims. They can do so many things, with these mobile phones. Hence, we're saying we need to remove them. Yes, we no longer find a lot of money in our facilities, indicating that, that things, have changed. They've moved to other systems. So as a department, we must be a step ahead at all times. We continue to monitor these trends. And some of the past that we do to assist in linking with other people in the outside community who, in a way, do their trade within our facilities.
All right, Thobakgale, great chatting to you. Thank you so much for your update. That was Correctional Services National Spokesperson Thobakgale updating us about the story of a Correctional Services official who's expected to appear in the Vanrhynsdorp Magistrates Court in the Western Cape today after she was arrested while allegedly packaging over R1 million worth of Mandrax and Tik.